everyone, welcome to the Georgia's page. Well, today we decided that we want to share with you how we make our rice with pigeon peas. So this is the pot that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a small pot because I'm only cooking this for the kids. So we're going to start out by using vegetable oil. I grew up using corn oil, but I'm going to go ahead and use the vegetable oil because I try to use things a little bit more healthier. I'm going to use about half a cup. Excuse any background noises. My baby girl is just not in a good mood today. So we're going to add that half a cup. And then we're going to turn on the stove because we forget to turn on the stove. We're going to usually start off with a medium-high heat. Just make sure you pay attention to everything you put on your stove. People tend to put stuff on their stove and walk away. You don't want to do that. That's not safe. So we're going to be adding ingredients into the pot, and this is our main ingredient that we use, or one of our main ingredients we use, which is tomato sauce. That is a base to all of our sauces and stews and soups and things like that. So tomato sauce comes in a bigger can, a little bit bigger than this can, but I tend to use that size to measure a small pot like this. You can also use tomato paste also. So if you use tomato paste, I would use about maybe 3 tablespoons of it. It tends to be a little bit thick, so you don't need to use a lot. So then we use the bouillon. This one has a tomato sauce in it. It has like tomato paste in there and the bouillon flavor, chicken flavor, and it's really good. But of course, I'm a pescatarian, me and my husband, so we won't be eating from this rice. When we do make rice for us, we try to substitute or not use anything with meat flavors. Then we're going to use the good old sazon. Of course, you're going to see this. It comes in a box with a lot of different, a lot of packets inside the box. We're only going to use 1 packet of that, and you're going to use about 2 teaspoons of oregano. It's just good. It makes everything taste better. I would normally put bay leaves in my rice, at least 2 large bay leaves, but I'm not going to do it because the kids hate it. Then we're going to add sofrito, which is like a sauce, a thick sauce seasoning made of peppers and onions and different vegetables. You're going to use about 2 tablespoons of it for this amount of rice. You can also get that in the green version. I like the red version of it, but you can get it in the green also and use that one, which is like the green one is used with the recao leaves, which is really good. And then these are olives. You can use the whole olives without the little seed in the middle, or you can use the already cut up olives. I like the olives that are already cut up. It's just smaller, and the kids hate olives in there. My husband hates it too. He doesn't like the olives, but of course our rice always has olives in it, and so we always got to put a little bit in there. Olives, you're only going to put maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons if it's cut up. If it's not cut up and it's the whole olives, I normally would use like half of a jar for this amount of rice. Then here's the pigeon peas. It is by the Goya company, and you can get them in from other brands also, but I always like to use the Goya brand. And you're going to open it up and put the whole can in there. And you're going to mix everything up really good. I like to use, I don't like plastic spoons, you know, stirring spoons and stuff. I like to use everything that's stainless steel or metal, because I don't know, that's just me, but that's what it looks like. Now at this point, when you put on your pigeon peas, if you don't want pigeon peas, you can cut up little small cubes of chicken, pork, ham, you know, any type of meat flavorings that you want in there, you know, whatever you want to put in there, peas, carrots. I don't think I would do all vegetables, but peas and carrots, things like that. Kind of like what you'd find in Chinese rice. I mean, at that point you can add the meats or add the veggies in there. Corn, you can make rice with just the corn in there. And then if you do put the meat, you got to make sure that the meat completely cooks off. And so before you add the rice. And so here we're going to add the rice. I like to use long grain rice. You can use the short grain. I grew up on the long grain, so it's all depends on what you like. I'm gonna say this is about 3 cups. Eyeballing it, it's about 3 cups or so. So for that pot, that's like a sauce pan, so 3 cups is good enough. And then I'm gonna wash it. Rice needs to be washed, right? So you want to at least get rid of some of the excess starch that you see, and it's going to look kind of like soggy. Just wash it off a little bit and then drain it. And then once you've drained all the water out of it, then you're going to add it to your mixture. And like I said before, when we added the pigeon peas, at that point, if you add meats and stuff, just make sure the meat at least cooks most of the way through before you add the rice. But this is the base sauce that we use for most of our yellow rice. Then you're going to add it, and you're going to stir it. I really enjoy making this. I've made rice with corn, rice with chicken, rice with pork, rice with vegetables. I mean, I've made rice like this of all different kinds. And that's what it looks like. You're going to see it's a little dry, like there's not a lot of fluid in there, but we are getting ready to add at least, I'm going to eyeball, it's going to be about 2 cups of water for this amount of rice. And how I always say that is that I tend to look, when I was younger, I didn't learn measuring anything, so everything was eyeballing it. But how I learned is that if I saw the water level, as you know, if the rice is flat in the pot and I see the water level about a quarter, maybe a quarter of an inch to half an inch above the rice, that should be enough water. So in this particular pot, I added 2 cups of water to that. And as you can see, as I'm stirring it, you can see the rice come up in little like mountains. Like you can see the rice come up. If you don't see the rice come up as you're moving it around, then that means you have too much water in there. Like literally too much water. So you got to make sure that you still see the rice as you're moving it. It's not just like floating in the water and you don't see it come up. People make too many mistakes with adding too much water and then the rice comes out really mushy. Now I did eyeball the salt. I already know how much salt goes in there. That's going to be about 2 tablespoons of salt that I put in there. You can add more or less to taste. You could just kind of taste the water and see if it's seasoned to your taste. But that's about 2 tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon and a half of salt that I put in there. You're going to put the heat on medium high, kind of like a high heat, but not all the way high. and then you're going to cover it. So it's very important that you cover the rice while it's I'm sorry, you're not going to cover it, my bad. You're going to leave it uncovered. Lord have mercy. Leave the rice uncovered until it dries off. Once it has completely, all the water has evaporated, then we will cover it. I had that backwards for a moment there. So it's going to bubble up and dry out. And then you're just going to mix it up. Now as it's simmering like this, you're gonna grab the spoon every so often and mix it around, because you want to make sure that it doesn't stick to the point where it burns. Rices a lot of times are always going to stick. You're always going to get that layer of rice at the bottom of the pot that's going to stick, but you don't want it to burn. It's a difference. When it starts burning, it starts smoking your rice really bad, and that doesn't taste so good. So we're gonna let that simmer and wait a little bit while it's drying out. You want to, like I said, you want to just keep checking on it, keep stirring it until all the water has evaporated. Then this is what it's gonna look like after the water has completely or almost completely evaporated. You will see the rice. And you can tell it's not done yet. So what we're gonna do now is when you're gonna lower the heat. We want to lower the heat to a low setting. It's easy for me to set it on like a number 2 or a little bit higher than low. You want to be careful not to put it too high because it will burn. So I would say like a low 2, then cover it. And it takes about 45 minutes for the rice to completely cook. Especially this amount. If I cook a lot more than this, it will take a little longer. But now we're going to check it again. It's been about 15-20 minutes. After you cover it the first time, after it dries out and you cover it, come back to it within about 15-20 minutes. Check it, mix it, and cover it up again and leave it another 20-25 minutes, and it should be done. When you come back to it, it should be completely done. This is very easy, and once you get used to making it, it's just no sweat. You'll be making all types of different yellow rices and stuff using the same sauce. And as you can see now, it's done. So, as you can see now, it's perfect. It's not too grainy and it's not mushy. And it's like a good texture. And it tastes really, really good. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see. So pretty. And the kids are going to eat that up. Alright, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy this and try it. If you have any questions, make comments on this and I will answer any questions you may have. I will put some more videos out here because this coronavirus thing has everybody at home, and hope that everybody stays safe, and see you guys soon.